What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes. It's time to finish off the tier list series. Now, should I be finishing off a tier list with a new season coming out in 2 days? Probably not, but I'm a crackhead and I'll forget. Shout out to all my crackhead homies out there. I know there's a few of you in this chat for sure. Without a doubt. There's no chat. I mean the comments. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, you guys know the deal already, but for those of you who do not, I guess I rank every single card at the position, and I rank them between next gen and current gen. In addition to through multiple playstyles, I also rank them in the tiers itself. So the top card in B tier is not going to be as good as the bottom card in B tier. That's very important. S tier, unquestionable best card in the game. Now I feel like it gets kind of tricky with the center position because it's really playstyle dependent. So I'm doing my best to be as objective as possible, but undoubtedly a card that you really like is going to be ranked too low for you. I say too low because it really just depends who you are. You know what I mean? A tier, just a shade under S tier, and I'll explain why they're there. B tier, this is what majority of the community is going to use. I feel like in the case of the center position, this position is really unbalanced, like super unbalanced. So guys in B tier are not going to be quite as good as the B tier guys in like the small forward, shooting guard, power forward tier. C tier, outdated but still usable to some extent. I will explain. D tier, super outdated cards. This is where your once glorious cards are going to reside. F tier, you know, they're going to do one or two things really well, but for the most part, you should probably upgrade in any meaningful capacity. And trash tier, they're trash. Channing Frye, F. He blocks shots and shoots threes. That's it. That's the only thing this card does. His release was slow when he came out, but he was all right. I think at the beginning of the year, I ranked him like B tier or something, which is crazy. But I mean, he was one of the only stretch bigs for a while when he first came out. So Chuck Nevitt, he blocks a lot of shots and rebounds really well, so I'll put him in F tier. He's not quite D tier material. Matt Bonner. This Matt Bonner sucks super bad, but he did come out day one, so it's fine. Al Horford. I would say B. If he had a better jump shot, I think I might put him in A tier, but I think B tier is appropriate for Al Horford. This Al Horford's D tier. I mean, he's just outdated. Alonzo Mourning. B. Yeah, I think B makes sense for Alonzo Mourning. He's still a defensive threat. He's still really good. His jump shot's not completely heinous. It's just like pretty not great. This Alonzo Mourning would be D tier. This one I would say would be the highest card in D tier. They're going to be separated by quite a bit, but I think they're pretty similar as far as cards. Alperen Sengun, low C tier. He's a very overpowered emerald big man, and there really aren't that many in this game, and for that reason, I would put him in C tier. He's got a wet jump shot too. Alvin Adams. Shout out to Alvin Adams. He looks like Barry Johnson from Joyce Manor, which I appreciate, obviously without the blacked out armband tattoos, but D tier. Bargiani, yeah, Andrea Bargiani, Knicks legend. I would put him in D tier for sure. Drummond, F. He's not quite trash. I hate Andrew Bogut. If you want to put Andrew Bogut in like F tier or something, fine. But I'm not conceding any higher than that. I won't do it. Antonio Davis. I was about to say Antonio McDyess. F. He can at least shoot the mid range. That is more than I can say for like a decent portion of this player pool for sure. Kareem, A. I would say A. I mean, if you have a badged up one, yeah, he's probably S tier, but I think A tier is appropriate for him. I just don't think he's quite as good, just quote unquote out of the box, as some of the guys that we're going to see in S tier. That being said, if you have a badged up one, for sure S tier, but I think regular A tier. Kelly Olynyk, I hate this card so much. I'm putting him in D tier. He might objectively be C, but I dislike him. I really do. Art Gilmore. Inevitably, there's going to be someone who says Art Gilmore is S tier, and while I'm not completely disagreeing with that fact, I do think that him and Kareem should be on the same tier wherever that tier is. This Art Gilmore is pretty bad. F. Chuck Nevitt, Andre Drummond area. Arvydas Sabonis, this one's outdated, so I put him in D tier, but this card was the best center in the game for a while. Diamond Bam, yeah, I mean, D. Ben Simmons, C. He can still move really well. He's still Ben Simmons, you know what I mean? But he can't shoot at all, which is a real Ben Simmons card. C tier is appropriate for him, I think. Ben Wallace. D. Bill Laimbeer. Okay, he's got easily, I would say easily the worst jump shot in the game. It's not even particularly close. Everything else is really good. It's just that jump shot. If he has even a mid-tier jump shot, like if he has Alonzo Mourning or Al Horford's jump shot, he's probably in B tier. But Bill Laimbeer pace is just heinous. So I'm going to put this card in F tier for that reason. Ruby Bill Russell. Good defensive card for the Ruby tier, but that's about all I can say. This Bill Russell came out so long ago, but he's still like low C tier because that's how good this card is. James Wiseman. I would say lowish B tier. He's not quite as good as James Wiseman in the last 2 years, but like he's not horrible. He's just kind of there. I would use Al Horford over him though, personally. That's just a personal thing. If you want to use Wiseman over Al Horford, I'm not going to argue with you. Like that's your own prerogative. I totally feel that. Bill Walton. See, you can make a case based on how the list is shaken out thus far that he should be B tier, but as the list progresses, I think Bill Walton will end up getting dropped anyway, so I'm just going to do it now. Outdated Kristaps. Yeah, here. Wiseman, I would probably throw right next to him, to be honest. Same with Sullinger. They would all go like right here. Diamond Bill Walton. D as well. Boban. Okay, hot take. I think Boban's B tier. I don't think it's a hot take. I feel like a lot of people use Boban. Boban's really solid. He is. He's massive too. And he already comes standard with a few shooting badges, but a badged up Boban is about as good as you can get for the price that he's going for, which is like 2K MT. Pink Diamond Hakeem, D. Yeah, I would say D tier. Bobby Portis. Oh yeah, Bobby Portis is C tier. I really, truly hope that we get an updated Bobby Portis at some point this year because Bobby Portis was so fire. I'm still kind of upset. It's the main reason I really wanted the Bucks to win was for a Bobby Portis card. And because I hate the Celtics. Bracket Busters, Kareem. I would say top of B tier. I mean, he's definitely better than all the guys in B tier right now. But I think as B tier shapes up, I think we'll see. I'll put him in A tier for now. I'll drop him if I need to. He's the worst card in A tier just due to his lack of badges. Bob McAdoo. He came out day one, but he's still like objectively not as bad as Bogut and Matt Bonner. This Bob McAdoo, as much as I like him, I want to put him in C tier, but I can't bring myself to do that, so I'm going to put him in D tier. Brad Daugherty. I was going to say Daughtry. Okay, it's definitely not Brad Daughtry. Wait, is it? No, is it Brad Daugherty, right? It's not Daughtry. Not like, he's not related to Chris, is what I'm saying, right? No. Brooke Lopez. Low C tier. I think is appropriate for Brooke Lopez. He's got a pretty good jump shot, obviously. We all like Brooke Lopez base. Like, he moves okay. Like, he's not terrible. He's just kind of there. Big Country. D. Yeah. Hopefully we get a Dark Matter Bryant Reeves soon. I can dream. Chris Birdman Anderson. C. He's a little outdated, but he's still like C tier objectively. Chris Bosh shouldn't be here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop him to the bottom. He's a power forward. Scott Pollard. S tier facial hair, but D tier card. LaMarcus Aldridge, I would say, is D tier as well. Same with Christian Wood. I'd put them all kind of in the right same area. Dunktober Kareem would also be a D tier card. You shouldn't be using any of these cards. Bam Adebayo. C. I think he's a little bit better than Chris Birdman Anderson and Ben Simmons personally. I can't disrespect Bill Russell like that. Simmons is going behind Bill Russell. Mike Muscala, the Terror. It's my boy, dude. When they updated his jump shot, I was using him when he had set shot. Was it set shot 4? Yeah. Then they gave him jump shot 4, and he was really good, but he's just super outdated. I would welcome another Mike Muscala, though, straight up. I can hate Clint Capella, dude. All right, objectively, he's not F tier. He's like over here somewhere. I hate. Every single year, I have to use a Clint Capella for some inexplicable reason, and it drives me nuts every time. I just hate him so much. As a card, I'm sure he's a fine human being. Daniel Gafford, block machine, but that's about it. Dan Issel, trash. He came out day one. Darko, yeah, I'm sorry. Darko's trash, too. Better than Bogut, though. Dave Cowens. I think Dave Cowens is still, like, low C tier, which is crazy. He came out so long ago. That's how bad the center position is. David Robinson. I would say power within D-Rob and signature D-Rob would probably be A tier. He's still really good. He's still the premier center in this game. This D-Rob's probably like top 2. Yeah, in D tier. This one, because you can add badges to him, is probably like low C tier. He's still good. Yeah, because he's better than Bill Russell. He's better than Chris Anderson. People were still using him for a long period of time. DeAndre Jordan. I mean, he can dunk. Like, he can dunk and rebound. This DeAndre Jordan's probably F tier. This card was way better than people gave him credit, myself included, at the time, for sure. Moses Malone. I love this Moses Malone card, but it's been too long. I can't wait for the new Moses Malone. I really hope you guys just let me win draft games. Sorry. DeMarcus Cousins. D-Cuz is still really good. I would say he's like over here somewhere. You could, depending on your play style, you can rank him higher, you can rank him lower. It just kind of depends. But I think objectively he's B tier. It just depends where you want to put him in B tier, you know? This DeMarcus Cousins is low C tier. A lot of outdated cards in C tier. That's what I was saying at the beginning when I said that, like, this list was going to have the least parity of all the lists. You know what I mean? There was going to be way more outdated cards in C tier than any other one. Dunktober Jokic, B tier. I don't think he's quite A tier. I think these four guys are better than Dunktober Jokic all around, but he's like the best card in B tier and probably will remain that. Rick Smits, dog. Rick Smits is good. He blocks so many shots. He's huge. He's the Shaq killer, as people say. He's really the only free card, at least to my knowledge, that can really hold down the megastars of the center position. Dikembe Mutombo is also technically a free card that can do that, but he requires shooting badges to really get going. Dikembe, I would say, with Hoff shooting badges is A tier, without is B tier. He's still my bench center, though. I still like him a lot. I would put him in A tier for my list, but I think objectively B tier. Also, he just like doesn't like to rebound the ball sometimes, which is very frustrating. Flash Dikembe, D. This Dikembe, D as well. Dino Raja. Still B tier. He can handle the rock. Huge wingspan. Like, he's still good. He's just not elite by any means. Level up Wilt Chamberlain. C. Yeah, he's a C tier card, I think. This Dino Raja is like D tier somewhere. Dwight Howard. Okay, this one's going to be contentious to say the least, but I think he's like low B tier. This card did not get the level of, I'm not going to say hype. It's not like we really need to hype a Dwight Howard card for any reason. It's not like he was that good, but like he did not get the level of respect he deserved when he came out, because he's a lot better than people give him credit for. Mo Bamba. Big fan. C tier. This Moses Malone, I mean, like, D. He can't get the shooting badges, which is kind of an issue for sure. Dwight Howard. This Dwight Howard, I mean, yeah. By, like, Hakeem and Kareem, for sure. Marvin Bagley, he's still a little... I hate this card so much. I don't care. Like, F tier. This Dwight Howard, like, F. Eddie Curry, probably F as well, yeah. Or no, D. I would say D, yeah. George Mikan, my boy, dude. Like, these four guys were like, I would say actually these seven were like the most elite centers in the world for a while. I mean, Bob McAdoo played power forward, but like when you ran into a sweat lord, especially on Next Gen back then, they were probably using Arvydas Sabonis, right? If you ran into a no money spent god, they were probably using Mikan or Dikembe, you know? George Mirasan, I mean, he's huge, so D tier. Opal Wilt. Opal Wilt's probably B tier. I would put him by like Wiseman and Horford. Yeah, I think he's objectively a little bit better than Boban, I think. I'll put him behind Boban. Doesn't matter. Like, if you want to put him higher, cool. Rashawn Holmes. This card's not incredibly good, but he's like the best card in F tier. Greg Oden. Shout out to Greg Oden. Greg Oden was pretty tight. Like, he was pretty decent. I would put him up here by like Moses and Dwight and stuff. I'm going to move Moses up. I'm not disrespecting my boy like that. Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem is close to the top tier of B tier, I think anyway. I just feel dirty about putting Wilt behind Rick Smits, so I'm going to go ahead and not do that. Michael Thompson, pretty bad. Might be the worst. Honestly, I hate this card. This Hakeem, same thing. I would throw him in B tier as well. I mean, they're the same card. Omar Yurt7, really tight name, but D tier. Isaiah Roby, I mean, he's like high D tier, I think. I really like this card. I might even put him in C. I don't know. Jack Sigma. Oh, yeah, Sigma's nice, dude. B tier. He's like lower B tier. I'm going to move Horford down. I don't really like this Horford card. I can't say he's better than Jack Sigma. I really can't. Jakob Podol. D. Jarrett Allen, I would put in C tier as well. I think this card's a lot better than we gave him credit. I'd be really welcoming of a new Jarrett Allen too, honestly. He was good. JaVale, this is going to be the shocker, but I think JaVale with the Evo is actually C tier. Like, JaVale's pretty good, dude. It's crazy. Jackson Hayes, I'm almost tempted to throw him in C tier, but I really like this card. I do. Jimmy Butler. Yes, he's small, but I think he's so good that C tier is very appropriate for him. I mean, he's incredibly good, especially in triple threat, man. Big Wilt by Hakeem, Kareem, and Dwight. Not much of a difference. I'd say Wilt's probably like the worst just because he came out first. You know what I mean? Joakim Noah. Noah's pretty bad jump shot wise, but he plays really good defense and he can shoot. So for that reason, I'd throw him like low C tier. Joe Barry Carroll, I hate this card. Having to do this block challenge with him has soured me on Joe Barry Carroll forever. Diamond, Joel Embiid. This is a conundrum. I would throw him like right here. He set some of the most effective screens in the game, and he's not terrible. Limited edition Joel Embiid shouldn't be here, but it doesn't really matter. I put him in like D, D tier by like David Robinson. This Joel Embiid right next to, where's Diamond Joel? Yeah, they're basically the same card, so it doesn't really matter. This Joel Embiid I still think is like low B tier. You can still get away with using this card just fine. Like, I think he's better than Alonzo. No, Alonzo's better. He's better than Dwight though. Is he though? Yeah, I'll leave it. Jonas Valanciunas, D. Nurkic, also D. Shaq Diesel. Where's Shaq Diesel going? He's like C tier. He's like right here somewhere. Power within Shaq, I think, is still B tier. I would put him over here by like Horford area, by like Dino. I think below Dino, but like right there. Yeah. Kareem. This Kareem sucks like F. I don't care. Daryl Chocolate Thunder Dawkins, which is an A+ nickname, S tier, if even. Karl Anthony Towns. A lot of outdated cards that we all used in D tier for sure. This Karl Anthony Towns, it's tough to say, but I think he's probably C tier. His jump shot is just really, really slow. And I would legitimately use every card in B tier over Karl Anthony Towns just because his jumper is slow. Once we get another one, though, I'm sure he'll be A tier. Like, it doesn't matter. Eddie Curry. Oh, yeah, Eddie Curry's nice. Yeah, Eddie Curry's good. B tier. And Evo'd Eddie Curry, fire. Pink Diamond McHale, I would say, is D as well. One of the better cards in D. This card is ass cheeks. Kevon Looney. I don't think Kevon Looney's that good. Some people are going to argue he's B tier. I think he's like high C tier. He's not great. It's cool that we got a Kevon Looney card, but, you know, let's be realistic here. Kristaps is S tier. Kristaps is the most annoying card in this game, and it's not even particularly close. Is he going to get passed up in S tier fast? Yeah, absolutely. But for now, S tier is appropriate. He's like 300k. I think he's worth that price at this point. Rudith Gobert. Yeah, D. Beast Kristaps is literally still C tier somehow. That should tell you everything you need to know about Kristaps. Ayton. Yeah, he's like low D. I really want to put Larry Sanders in B tier. I'll be honest, I really do. But I'm stopping myself based solely on is he better than Karl Anthony Towns, and I can't say yes. So I'm gonna put him in C tier. But just know on my list he's B tier. Fucking love Larry Sanders, dude. A little bit small though, I will say that. Vin Baker, GOAT, F tier. Marc Gasol. On next gen, he's so good on next gen still. He's not like the greatest card in the world or anything, but I think he's still really good on next gen, and for that reason I'd put him in B tier. Marc Gasol was fire for a bit. This Marc Gasol was like one of the best cards in the game for a long period of time. Him and Sabonis were stupid. Like on next gen at least, it went Marc Gasol, Sabonis, D-Rob, Kevin McHale. Marcus Camby, I mean, he's like C tier, I would say. Shout out to Marcus Camby, dude, straight up. Matt Bonner, dude, the Red Mambo. We need a new Matt Bonner card like ASAP. You know how everyone does like Kobe tributes and stuff in like the My Team community? I'm gonna start doing Matt Bonner tributes. You know what I mean? It's gonna be the Red Mamba squad. There we go. Yeah, let's throw him. Let's settle the real GOAT right here, the real Mamba. Yao Ming. Yep. He's still S tier. There's no way around it, honestly. I would say there's no way you're gonna sit here and tell me that Yao Ming is worse than Kareem, Art, and D-Rob. I mean, maybe you feel that way for your own personal playstyle, but we could admit that that's not completely correct, you know? This Yao Ming is ass. I hate it so much. This Yao Ming is tough to rank, but I would probably put him in C tier. And the reason I would put him in C tier is there's a better version of Yao Ming that was also literally free that I'll put in B tier. But I would say this Yao is kind of slow on his feet and not the greatest at this point. So C tier is appropriate. Mitchell Robinson, block machine, but that's about it. Mo Bamba. This Mo Bamba is pretty high up in D tier. Montrezl Harrell, I hate this card so much, F. Miles Turner was legitimately one of the best power forwards in the game for a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and put him by like Moses Malone and Dikembe. I remember running into someone who was running Dikembe and Miles Turner in the early game, and I just like felt so much dread. Was it Miles Turner that they were? Well, it was definitely Miles Turner, but I can't remember what the center was. But I remember seeing those two players and just feeling like an instant feeling of dread, you know? Wayne Embry. Yeah, probably C tier. He's not very good. Really disrespected my boy. Nate Thurman. People really were using Nate Thurman like he was a god for a little bit. And I guess at the time he was. Nerlens Noel, he plays defense. That's all I can say. This Decuz, I mean, he could shoot a little bit. Dunked over Jokic, yeah. I used this card as my center for a long period of time. If anyone's allowed to slander this card, it's me. I used this card as my main center for like a month. Painful times. This Jokic is not great, but I would say C tier is warranted. Vucevic. I don't really much care for Vucevic, but he is also C tier. I cannot deny this. This Vucevic, remember when we all collectively were like freaking out trying to get this Vucevic, and I think we all maybe used him for like a week. Yeah, D. Onyeka Okongwu, where's my defensive studs over here? Yeah. Patrick Ewing. I personally believe that Ewing might be close to A tier, just because he's a really good power forward, but I haven't seen a single person run Ewing like in months, so I'll put him at the top of B tier. He's still the best card in B tier in my opinion, though. This Patrick Ewing, not great. D. Precious Achua. I think he's too good to be in D tier, but he's like over here by Joakim Noah. Rafe LaFrance. I really am mad that I didn't get this card, honestly, at the time. He would have helped my team immensely. DeAndre Ayton. Outdated, but still good. Where's Brook Lopez? Yeah. There we go. Earl Boykins, he's trashed, but he's number one in my heart. I don't even care. Ralph Sampson, oh yeah, this is what I was talking about. He's just better, yeah, basically. So, for that reason, I'd probably put him by like Shaq Diesel and Dino. He can shoot a little bit too. Rick Mahorn's pretty bad. Like Rick Mahorn might actually be the worst card on this list. Like Rick Smits, he's the best card in F tier. Robert Parrish. Parrish is like over by Bill Walton. Remember when everyone was rocking Parrish too, dude? 2K has forced us to use so many weird centers this year as like meta cards because like they've been actually good at power balancing up to this point. Crazy. Robert Williams, he plays good defense. Put him by like McAdoo and Isaiah Roby. Gobert, F. Ha-Sung Jin, another one. Just a random dude that we all collectively used for a bit. D. Zero Gravity Shaq Diesel is C tier. He's just such an overpowered gold card. He deserves to be here. Invincible Shaq Diesel. Yeah, S. I don't really need to explain or elaborate that, I feel. Pink Diamond Shaq is still like C tier by like Kristaps, I think. Sean Bradley, I think he's really bad. So I'm going to put him in D tier. I don't know how you feel. Simbular, I would do the same thing. I would throw him like over by like Jackson Hayes and Sean Bradley over here. Sean Bradley goes behind Mikan for sure. I'm not going to disrespect my boy George Mikan, who still hasn't got another card, by the way. Disrespectful. Simbular, yeah, by like Rick Smits and F. Steven Adams, he plays good defense. Put him by like Scott Pollard and Jakob Poeltl. That just kind of sounds correct. I'm sorry if it's not. Swen Nader would also go there as well. A lot of mustaches in here. A lot of facial hair. Taco Fall. Having to use this card for limited was one of the most painful experiences of my life. He's so slow. I hate him so much, but Theo Ratliff, I mean F. Like low F too. Thomas Bryant, I think, is like low C tier. I do. He's a really, really good Ruby big man. Straight up, he might be one of the best, honestly, or at least the most well-rounded. Thonathan Maker, D. Yeah, Thon Maker's D. Tristan Thompson, just serial philanderer. Where are you going, you little Kardashian? Where are you going? D. Yeah, maxed out. Tyson Chandler, F. Going by like Nerlens and Montrezl Harrell. I'm gonna throw Montrezl Harrell at the bottom. I hate this card so much. Vlade Divac. I'm very tempted to throw Vlade in B tier, but I think he's actually like C. He's like higher C tier with like Larry Sanders, Yao Ming, Kevon Looney. I think Kevon Looney should go right here. So I would go Karl-Anthony Towns, Kevon Looney, Vlade, Larry Sanders, Yao, Bobby Portis, Wilt, Bobby Portis. Yep, that looks good. Okay, this Vlade Divac is D tier, put him by like dunked over Jokic. Wendell, D. He can shoot a little bit. Wes Unseld. This is a hard card to rank because like he's really good, but he's super small and he can't really play either of his positions very well. I'm gonna put him in B tier though, because he's just a really, really good card. He's just slightly undersized, and I can't sit here and put Draymond in A tier and then like Wes Unseld in C. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be a thing. This Wes Unseld's good enough to be in D tier, so that should say everything I need to say. Willie Cauley-Stein, high D tier. Willis Reed, okay, this is a good barometer too, because I would throw Willis Reed and Wes Unseld right next to each other. This Willis Reed card is actually way better than people give him credit for. It's just that either A, no one has him, or B, everyone has better cards who would have him already. This Willis Reed, D. Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, big Wilt's A tier, for sure. I would say both versions of Wilt are A tier. The only thing that keeps him out of S tier is Set Shot 17 having a little bit of a learning curve. For sure, it's hard to green for a lot of people, so I would put him next to Kareem. I would say he's the best card in A tier, but you could really argue that. It doesn't really matter, honestly. I don't really even care to rank the cards in A tier. I would just say Kareem's the worst. I wouldn't even say that. I honestly don't know. Wang, he's one of the best Ruby big men in the game, so C tier. Pink Diamond Wang would go by like Robert Parrish. He can still get buckets, but that's about it. Ilgauskas, as much as I like Ilgauskas, I mean, you could argue he's B tier, but I think he's C tier at this point. That's my opinion anyway. And finally, Sapphire Ilgauskas. He's a good Sapphire. I'll put him by like Sullinger and Dino. You can still get buckets. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes, and I appreciate you watching this video. I only got 4 packs left to open, so I'm not going to do one this time, but just know that on Friday, I'm going to open one of these 4 packs. What do I got left? NBA Hoops, NFL, 1990 Football, Justin Bieber, and American Idol. Sweet. Super sick. So, peace.